Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Thanks for clicking on my video. So I know that there's probably a gazillion different videos telling people how to have a long-lasting manicure, blah 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 blah. I just want to throw my 2 cents into the pond of YouTube. So this manicure is actually the one that I'm about to show you, and it's probably on day 6 now, and I have no chipping or peeling. So if you're interested in what I do and like how I do it, then keep watching. The first thing I want to do is start off with the tools I use. So I use this Sally Hansen Instant Cuticle Remover, as well as just a plain old nail file. This one is a little bit rougher than most. And then I use these little guys right here that do the things, cuticle nippers, that's what they're called. And then I also use this tool right here, which pushes my cuticles back. There's like a rounded side that I use, and then the flat side I use sometimes, but as you can see, I use it to take off my polish mostly. So these are the hard tools that I use. Next is the polish I use. My fingernails peel very easily, so I use this Orly Nail Defense Strengthening Protein Treatment as my base. It's gonna roll, but this is what I use. I just got this at Target, and I think that it works very well for me. And then the actual color that I'm going to be using is Lila in the Lights Lacquer. I do love the Lights Lacquer. I completely recommend it. It's better than anything, even OPI and China Glaze. And then along with that, I use the same top coat, the Sew Over It, from the same Lights Lacquer. So these are the basics of what I use. No one realizes that the most important step to a long-lasting manicure is your nail prep. So what I do is I take the cuticle remover and I put it all around my nail beds. This doesn't need to be a super clean line or anything. I just slap it on there. And I like to let it sit for a second or two so that way it can soften my cuticles up. Once my nails have gotten a minute to take on the liquid, I just go around and lightly push back my cuticles as well as the main nail itself. Sometimes if I have leftover polish, I will also scrape that off. But mostly it's just to keep my cuticles nice and pretty. If you see the liquid turning a bit green, it's because the color I had on previously was in fact green. And I always have a towel or some sort of something to wipe all of the goo off of. So now that I have completely cleaned my cuticles, I'm gonna take my cuticle nippers and just kind of clean up the edges. I don't recommend doing this if you don't have experience in it, and less is more. It's better to take off a little section of your thumb than a big section of your thumb. So just work in little motions. Don't go crazy. It's not worth it. So once I have done the cuticles, which look a little rough, but it's mostly because they're dry, LOL, I will get into shaping. And as you can probably see, I kind of like it to be a little bit angled with like a flat top. So that's what I'm gonna do. This thumb in particular needs work on that, so that's what I'm gonna do. So like I said, my file is a bit more rough, just because the smooth files don't work as well. So I like to go back around the edge to make it not as wide. I don't have super wide thumbs, but it just helps when trying to file them, because then it's a sharp line, and you can see kind of, and I'll do the same for the other side. Next, I'm gonna take the softer side, because like this side is rough and this side is softer, and I'm going to just kind of do a generic little file at the top. And as I'm going along, I will just take the softer side of my nail file and just kind of like buff it out. I don't even know if this is referred to as buffing, but I'll lightly file it just to kind of give the polish a nice place to set into. And it looks a little ridiculous. I don't go crazy, but especially on the edges I like to do this because that's where my nail polish peels first. So now that she's roughed up and beautiful, and now I'm going to repeat the process for my other nails. So once I file everything, I rinse it off in the sink, and I just make sure that there's no powder everywhere, which there's not. And then I get to kind of see if my cuticles are still very bad or not. So like there's a little dot right there that I might get. But other than that, I think they're pretty good. So I'm gonna start with the top coat. So I don't do the top coat in any certain way, just for you to see the bottle. I kind of do a off to one side, and then like maybe a little bit of one, so that way there's like that much product on there. Sometimes that matters to people. I don't know if it matters to you. So I like to start by getting the tip of it with the top coat, just because my nails like to break. The rest of it I'll start in the back, but with my top coat I do like to start at the front. Like I said, for my color I will be using the Lights Lacquer in Layla. Layla, where you at, girl? Layla. So it's kind of like a brown. It's part of the Your Nudes But Better collection, and I really appreciate that. So again, if you care, I just do like boop. And for my thumb, I'd probably leave all of that, but for a normal finger I might like go halfway just to have that much product for the first go. I like to do a nice thin layer just to get the polish itself established on my nail. So I do start from the cuticle. I just do a little bit. To get a good base, and I leave some of my cuticle kind of looks shitty, which is fine. It'd be like that, and then I add more. Maybe that was a little bit more than I was expecting. But I really like the application of this polish. Is it a lacquer? Is there a difference? Who knows? So I really like the application, and yeah, I applied too much. As you can see, it's separating a little bit right there. And I want to make sure that this has a nice definition at my cuticle. Boom, it kind of looks funny on the first coat, but we'll roll with it. On camera it kind of looks like a terracotta, but in person I swear it's more of a camel. So now I'm gonna let the second coat dry. Once all of the nails are dry, I go in with the top coat. And I am kind of liberal with the top coat. Again, just to show you for consistency's sake, I just wipe the one side and leave that much product. So, yep. So again, I like to start at the back to really seal it in. And as you can see, it's kind of like folding over because there's excess amount. I kind of like that because it really gives a good like sealed in. The only problem is you really don't want to let the brush get super dry as you're pulling it, or else it'll get streaky. And you don't want to touch anything because you will screw it up. And that's that. And that is that. These are my completed nails. As you can see, I have a little bit of things on the edge that I didn't clean off, this ring finger as well, but for me that's okay. I mean, they're good enough, and that's it. So I really hope you like my nails. Thank you so much for making it to the end, and if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of me, then just subscribe. It would mean a lot. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.